Hello, my name is Mark and this is Production Engineering. This is another subscriber question video, and this question comes from Tony Lilly, and he asks, I want to start my little project but I don't have a PCB board, and are there any other alternatives? Well, I realize that you probably do not want to give away what the PCB board is for because it is your intellectual property. So I will do my very best to answer the question for you. And first of all, what we can look at is you should have your PCB board made up. Now, do you have the design? And if you already do have the design, then we can look at things like getting your boards made quite cheaply. If you do not have a design, we'll talk about some other options that we have. So the first thing, if you do have a design and you have the ODB or Gerber files, now if you don't know what that means, it probably means that you haven't actually got these because your designer would have given you these so you can manufacture your board. It's actually quite a number of files that you require to make one of these boards. Now, this is a board I made quite a little while ago. I've got about 6 of these made for about $60. And I think that included shipping as well. This was quite inexpensive. You can see it's quite a sizable board. It doesn't really do much. It's only what you call a 2-layer board, and it just had some switches that terminated to a number of terminals. So that's one thing you can do. And to be able to do that, you'll need to have a board manufacturer. So how do you find a PCB manufacturer? Well, you can go to Google, and these are the couple of things you can put into Google to find these manufacturers. So you can type in low-cost PCB manufacturing, you can put small quantity PCB manufacturing, prototype PCB manufacturing, and you'll see a whole bunch of people coming up with ads and showing you that they do it. And they're quite inexpensive these days because the way they work is they get a whole bunch of projects in and they lay them side to side and pretty much cut all of that out for different customers. And you probably find that whenever you actually get boards from prototyping, they have these unusual numbers sometimes on them. This one was lucky and didn't have it, but they number a particular job lot so that you have they can tell which ones they send to you. So that's pretty much that avenue. Now, what else can you do if you do not have design files but you have an idea? I hope that you have an electronic circuit. If you have an electronic circuit, you can use things like breadboards, these little things. These things are like a pretend PCB. You have you have lines connected across and up and down, and you can put your components inside of these things, as you can see here, inside these holes, and they make connections. You can use jumper wires to put them together and make your circuit. So it's kind of like a prototyping board. There are also soldering type boards. Now, this might not come out in the camera. I'll actually take stills of these and put them in so you can see. This is another breadboard. It's actually a PCB, but this one you would solder. So you would actually use a soldering iron to manufacture. So let's say you do not have a design either, but you have an idea of how something wants to work. Well, what you can do is you can actually look on eBay and places like that for boards such as this. Now, I wanted to make an irrigation system for my house, but there were switches and solenoids that I needed to operate, and I couldn't get them to operate directly of a controller board. So I went online and I found this isolation board. It actually uses solid state relays to control the old mechanical type relays, and you can switch a lot more current, but that's beside the point. But you can actually find things that already exist in the electronics universe that people have made that could be repurposed, and this is one of these things. You can of course buy other boards that already do things like power supplies, flashes, voltmeters. This particular one is a communications board that I was using for a project. So you can find things that already exist and repurpose them. The next step is I talked about this little thing here. This is actually an Arduino module. This you can actually program to control all these different outputs and inputs. You can take information in and send information out. So this is quite a smart little board. There's a little bit of programming involved, but there is so much information on these on the web, and you can learn to use and program one of these quite easily. So this was originally designed to work with this. So you can stack boards together. And then finally, there's also other things like almost little computers. This pretty much is a computer. This is a Raspberry Pi, so you could use this to do something even at a higher level than just a simple on-off switch or variable voltage and things like that. So that's a couple of ideas there. Well, that's it for this question. I hope it has been helpful, and if you have any further questions, post them in the comments below. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and watch this little video that will explain how you can get your questions answered. So that's it. My name is Mark, and this is Production Engineering.